Hello, and welcome to the Streets Will Never Forget podcast, episode 4. With me, Callum known as Trail. I've got with me Callum known as Wall and Rob known as Rob. How are we, boys?
Howdy. Hello, everybody. How are we?
Hello, mate. How are you? All right?
Are we both okay? Yeah, both okay. I mean, we've just had a bit of an angry discussion about Luke Shaw before we started recording. Are we both
I'm not
okay?
sure Wall's okay, mate. I think
He's not sure,
still a bit all right.
He's not sure.
He's not sure. No, mate, I'm already pumped for this now. I'm ready to.
Ready.
I'm fuming.
I'm not sure we're going to disagree on this, though, Wall, mate. To be honest with you,
I feel like we are going to be in a good mood today, me and you. But
I feel like
we'll find out.
We'll see what happens anyway. All we've got to remember is we've just got to be unbiased and honest. That's all that matters. So this week we're doing Mario Balotelli. Obviously, probably one of the most controversial footballers that's ever graced the Premier League. Played for Liverpool, Man City, Milan, those sort of teams. You know, definitely interesting. Still playing. I think he's 30 now, and he plays in something like Turkey. Is it something like that?
Serie B, isn't it?
the Serie B,
Oh,
mate.
of course,
Yes.
it's Serie B. Yeah,
Second division, Italian.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I don't know why I said Turkey. Ignore me. So obviously, as always, we will start with the quiz. So you both ready?
Lay it on me. Do it.
I'm ready as I'll ever be, mate. Although I don't really know. I'd say this is the weakest I've been, sort of preparation-wise for one of these.
We've seen you strongest, mate, haven't we? So,
Yeah, we certainly
Yeah,
know he knows
yeah.
everything about
I'm not-
Scotty P.
I'm not on Scotty P form. Put it
Has
like
he
that.
messaged you back yet, mate?
No, mate.
When
no,
is
he's
the
not
wedding?
slipped me that 20 quid.
The restraining
promise.
order's not coming into effect yet, then.
It's due.
So question number 1. For which Milan did he play for 2 terms? AC Milan or Inter Milan?
That's AC Milan, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, AC Milan.
Pretty sure it's loan and then permanent.
It is
Permanent
indeed.
and then loan. All the way around.
Oh, controversy already. Yes, AC Milan he did pay for twice. Well done, both of you. Question number 2. How many Premier League goals did he score for Liverpool?
The almighty 1 against Spurs in a 3-2 win.
I did have a second part of the question, which was who was that goal against?
There
But
we
yeah,
go.
you got ahead of me. That's
score.
fine. Did you know that one, Rob?
No, mate. I'd got somewhere how many goals he'd scored in total in his sort of total appearances, but not entirely Premier League.
Yeah,
I
well,
remember-
it wouldn't take you long to
It's
find
one
out.
more than we've ever got.
I saw that game. I was watching that game actually when he scored, and I was like, "Oh my god,
What a player.
he
What a great
scored!
player.
What a goal! Streets remember him."
Question number 3. Whose head did he reportedly stomp on in a match against Tottenham?
Oh god,
Whose head? Was he
whose
playing
head?
for City or Liverpool at the time?
I couldn't tell you that, mate. I've not got that written down.
I
think
not
City.
a clue. Not a clue.
Nah. If I was out, I'll
Nico
throw in a guess at
Crenshaw.
Michael Dawson.
Well, one of you is going to be very upset. It was Scott Parker.
Oh, God. Well, that's typical, mate. Scotty Parker would be flying into a challenge, wouldn't he? Putting himself in harm's way.
Into Balotelli's boot.
See, you've asked that question. Now Rob's clearly going to be biased towards his opinion of Mario Balotelli.
No, I trust Rob that he's not going to be biased. Question number 4. Who were Man City playing when he revealed his infamous "Why Always Me" t-shirt?
Oh, we know
I'll
that.
save yourself the R8 wall, pal.
Yeah,
It
go on.
was Man United, mate, in the old
It was indeed
6-1
Man United.
thrashing.
Thrashing it was, yeah.
It was, mate.
Well
It turned the tide that did that day. Man City's favour. They've been dominant side in Manchester ever since.
Oh, right, yeah. All right,
All because of that, all because Balotelli. And question number 5. In his life, what did Balotelli call the worst decision?
Oh, dear me. I don't know. I reckon his move to Liverpool would be up there, but I feel like it'd be something much sillier.
Yeah, something like letting fireworks up in his house.
No, he didn't regret that one, does he? It was indeed, in fact, going to Liverpool, Rob. Well done.
Oh, there you go.
Fair dues, fair play.
Fantastic. You
At
both
least he's
did
honest.
well there. I've got a little surprise for you both now. We've actually
All right,
got
go on.
Mario Balotelli.
No.
No, really. I've got a second game for you that I'd both like you to play. Are we up for it?
Excellent. Yeah. What we're doing?
Are you up for it, Rob?
Yes, mate, yeah.
It is Balotelli or Bollocks Telly. And I'm going to read out some things to you, and you've got to tell me whether Balotelli actually did them or I've made them up.
The chances are, the crazier they are, the more likely it's going to be true.
Well, let's see what happens. So, number 1, there's 6 of them altogether. Number 1, a youngster asked Balotelli for his autograph after football practice one day. When Mario asked him why he wasn't in school, the kid said he was being picked on. So Balotelli drove the boy and his mother to school and spoke to the bully himself. He also met with the headmaster to discuss the issue. Is that Balotelli or Bollocks Telly?
You see, I
I'm
feel
gonna
like
guess Balotelli. To be honest,
yeah, I
with
feel
you.
like I feel that's true. I swear I've heard this.
I feel like sometimes it's that force of the community for good, isn't it? That footballers show. So I think that human side. I would go Balotelli. I think that's true.
Balotelli, well, what are you saying?
Yeah, I swear I've heard the story of this kid saying he was bullied, but I don't know if it's to the extent of him physically going to the headmaster to try and stop these bullies.
Well,
But yeah, I'm going to say Balotelli.
It is indeed Balotelli. It's true. It did happen.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I think it's true. These are all reportedly off the internet. So if they're not
Oh,
true,
wow.
don't sue me for libel. Question number 2. He went to a fish and chip restaurant in Manchester before an evening match and ordered fish and chips. When he was served the food, he said, "What sort of fish is this?" And the lady told him it was haddock. He said, "Do I look like the kind of guy that eats haddock?" And then he walked out. Is that Balotelli or Bollocks Telly?
I'm saying Bollocks Telly on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Wall on that one. I feel like if he's done such a good deed, is they're not going to go and make himself look
You
a
sure?
bit of an idiot.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm going Bollocks Telly.
It is indeed Bollocks Telly.
Yeah, he looks like a guy who like a bit of haddock.
He did. Yeah. Question number 3. He once got pulled over with $25,000 sitting next to him in the front seat. When the police officer asked him why, he said, "Because I can."
Balotelli for me. That I'm pretty sure I've heard that story.
Is that
Yeah.
Balotelli or Bollocks
Yeah,
Telly?
I'm pretty sure I've heard that one.
Yeah, again, there's not much debate here. I'm just going to agree with Rob. Balotelli as well.
That's fine. It is indeed Balotelli. 4 marks so far, lads. Question number 4. In 2011, he had to get subbed off due to a spontaneous grass allergy.
Ooh, I'm pretty sure I've heard that story again.
Yeah, I think he's allergic to
Balotelli,
grass.
Yeah.
Well, fuck me. If you both know about him so much, what's the point in Balotelli, Bollocks Telly?
Yeah, I actually do recall him being allergic to grass, so I'm going to Balotelli.
It is Balotelli, yeah. In 2011 specifically, he was allergic to grass.
Just that one year, yeah. It was a strong pollen year, put it that way.
Question number 5. He paid for his brother to have a vasectomy at age 23 because his brother lost a bet against him.
No, Bollocks Telly.
Agreeing with Wall on that one. Yeah,
You go for Bollocks Telly?
I feel like it's the sort of thing I wouldn't put past him. But no, I feel like to even it out, there's got to be another Bollocks Telly in there.
Is that what you think? Or have I already thought that?
The law of averages, yeah.
Yeah, law of averages.
Well, it is in fact Balotelli.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's Bollocks Telly, but it could have been Balotelli. I've got to remember.
I mean, the fact you said it was Balotelli, I wasn't shocked to the level of
I think
to the extreme.
The final one. He was caught trespassing in a women's prison in Italy. When caught, he said he wanted to show his brother what a prison was like.
Oh. I mean, how's he got into a women's prison? I'm going to say
Bollocks Telly again.
Yeah, Bollocks Telly again. Yeah.
Nearly 4 marks, boys. It was in fact Balotelli.
That's actually true.
Yeah, it was.
How? How is he? Is telling me he's broken into a prison?
A woman's prison in Italy, and he was caught. He just said, "I want to show my brother what a prison was like." He asked what a prison was like. I just wanted to show him.
So, oh God.
The image I've got in my head is the prison guards going, "Oh, someone's trying to break in. Who's that? Is that Premier League footballer Mario Balotelli trying to break into this woman's prison?" And
his brother with a vasectomy.
Yeah. And his brother with a very early life vasectomy. So nearly 4 marks, 5 out of 6. I think that's pretty good going, boys. Well done.
For how mental he is, I think we've done well there to escape the bullshit.
We narrowed them down pretty well, mate. And
just so you know, I'm announcing the retirement of Balotelli or Bollocks Telly. There's no other player that would have the controversy like that, I imagine.
What about Scotty P or Scotty Piss?
Scotty Piss. Don't, Rob will cry.
Rob will have his whole life story on.
Moving
on.
Well,
see, lads, the holding midfielder.
Let's not start this again. Let's move on to actually talking about Mario Balotelli as a player.
So, moving on. So, Mario Balotelli, who would like to go first?
I think I might get a word in first unless Rob goes on a Scotty P tangent. So,
Go on.
No, mate, I'll let you take this one. Start with.
What
see,
have you searched all about Mario Balotelli?
so this is an interesting one because I know this is obviously your recommendation trail.
It is, yeah.
Or your suggestion. So what I've gathered is probably you're going to have a bit more of a positive opinion initially than me. For me, he strikes me as a player, the old, untapped potential or wasted potential because of his on-field and, as we've seen, off-field antics.
Vasectomies.
I think people are going to remember him a lot more because he was such a big character on the pitch and off the pitch. But for me, I don't think that holds up in terms of his performances and his career. I think he definitely had a good start. But as obviously I think we'll definitely go into it a bit later on, we can definitely see a change in his career and a downward spiral. And I think that for me suggests that he's not the quality of player that maybe some people remember him as.
Do you think it is about his quality, or do you think he was, because obviously with him being the character he is, do you reckon he just sort of got to a point where he just didn't care about football anymore?
I think that's also very likely.
Rob, what do you think?
He's a bit of an enigma, isn't he? Capable of the sublime and then the utterly ridiculous. I think in terms of, I would agree with Wall, his career sort of peaked, didn't it? Sort of Man City, Milan, and then like you said earlier, I remember an interview with him saying that Liverpool was very difficult days. So I think sort of around that era was when his career started to spiral. But I think in terms of when you look at what he was as a sort of centre forward, as someone with decent build, 6'2", he's sort of what you'd want as a centre forward. He's had a bit of pace about him. He's 6'2", so he could hold a ball up, he could head a ball. But I'm sort of with Wall, and I'm sort of seeing that sort of wasted talent almost. Like we saw glimpses of it, like when you think Euro 2012 when he scored those 2 goals against Germany, and then the infamous flex celebration. He was capable of those moments, wasn't he? Those moments which showed what a talent he was, but then at the same time, wasted talent as well. So I think it's more, there are moments, but he never really reached the potential that he could have had he suppose dedicated his life to the game.
Why do you think he's such an underrated footballer, Trail? Because I imagine that's what you think.
I mean, yeah, I think he's underrated only because I think he's one of those players because his off-field antics and his other things have distracted away from the quality of player he was. I mean, we all remember his Liverpool stint. Obviously, again, that famous meme we mentioned before. I think this is a player who has won. He's won the Premier League. He's won the Champions League. He's been the top scorer.
3 Italian Scudettos as well, hasn't he, mate?
Yeah, exactly. Italian Cup winner, Italian Super Cup, Italian Youth Champion.
He won the Golden Boy as well in 2010.
Golden Boy. Do you know what I mean? And these are all things that you'd be hard pressed to find a lot of players. I feel if we compared him to any other players that have these things, we wouldn't be saying that they were, not worthy or overrated. But again, you remember him for the vasectomies, for the haddock, those sort of things that
the stories that weren't true.
were true. You remember these things more. I mean, I've got a few stats here. He's taken 43 penalties in his career and only missed 5, which I think is an amazing penalty record.
Not the level of Ricky Lambert.
Not in the record of Ricky Lambert, but still, only 5 missed penalties out of 43. Balotelli did say that growing up, his inspiration was Ricky Lambert. So we're not surprised, are we?
Is that Balotelli or Bollocks-telly?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Bollocks-telly with that one. I watched some of his highlights for when he was playing for City. His positioning was incredible. Whenever the ball's being passed, sometimes you watch football and you see the ball just sort of roll across the box, and no one was there. He was there. He was always there. His goals weren't always amazing goals, but his positioning was really good. His goals for City, all different types, penalties. He had long range. He didn't even celebrate after he scored. Because again, I don't know whether this is true or not, but that saying about the postman, he said a postman doesn't
Yeah.
celebrate when he delivers a letter.
Yeah, I do think that's true. I do think that's a quote he said. But
That's been
yeah,
attributed to a lot of people, I think, wasn't it?
I think
but,
with what you're saying, Trill, mate, is that idea, isn't it, about who you surround yourself with as a footballer, and maybe I don't know, but maybe he wasn't surrounded with people who maybe had his career, the best for his career in mind, because like you've said, the talent was there, but some of the decision making off the field perhaps wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his career, I mean, obviously we've spoken about this, but you look at his career. He started at Inter Milan, City, AC Milan, Nice, then Liverpool. You know, his goal involvements. You know, we're talking 1 every 2 games.
Well, when you're never going to get bigger than that one against QPR, are you, for Aguero?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I was going to mention this as well. He assisted the Aguero.
it was his only assist in Premier League. Premier League history as well.
Can you not get Martin Tyler in to do that moment, mate?
Which is
I can't, mate. If I had some sort of good skill technological, I'd insert it now. But because I can't, I'm going to have to ask you both for an impression. So, Wall, can you give me your Martin Tyler first, please?
I mean, you know, this would really hurt me being a Manchester United fan. This is not I feel.
The pod's more important.
As well, we're doing a very major disservice to Martin Tyler.
Rob, mate, you're coming next, so don't try and put it off. Wall, you can go first, mate. Go on, give us an Aguero.
Do I really have to do this?
Yes, mate, you do.
I'll do one, mate, if you want.
Aguero.
Go on, Rob, you're next.
That's
mate.
as much passion you're getting from me. Sorry.
Balotelli, Manchester City is still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero.
We had the lead up as well. That was good.
I've tried to wipe that memory from my mind.
I've seen enough
so I
Sky Sports football 90+ winners on YouTube to forget that moment, mate.
See, all I remember from that is they went to were they Old Trafford? Were United at Old Trafford at the time?
No, they were at Stadium of Light, weren't they?
Stadium of Light, yeah.
And
they went round, and they were all clapping, and they were all putting their arms up and everything. And then I just imagine what that dressing room would have been like the moment they realised.
I reckon a few football boots would have been thrown.
I think it happened on the pitch because I recall Phil Jones pulling a famous face. We all know he's good for a game.
Like a 9-point lead that year.
Something like that, yeah. I knew we lost the games against Wigan and
we drew 4-4 with Everton, didn't we?
Yeah, we drew some games.
So if obviously, because again we've all got different opinions of this, we can tell. A goal every 2 games. A goal involvement every 2 games, roughly in his career. That's pretty good going. Like, you know, for him to be on the pitch and every other match, him contribute to a goal. You know, is that not somebody who we're not? You know, he should be one of the most prolific players in his career as far as involvement's concerned. I mean, he's not Messi level or Ronaldo level, how many goal involvements and stuff, but surely he's up there with one of the best of. You could be confident he could have scored a goal for you.
Well, I've got it here, mate. 174 league appearances, 96 goals.
See, 96 goals and 174 appearances.
So, like you said, mate, largely one just under every 2 games.
It's one over every 2, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely
a
very good stat, but we'll look at the teams he's played for, and realistically, City, they were a really good squad at that point. If we'd have stood in the box,
but again, think about who was playing for City at the time as well as him. So you had Aguero, Edin Dzeko, etc. He wasn't exactly the top player for City, was he? Like as far as quality is concerned.
Well, it wasn't no first name.
So
I think it's
so if he wasn't the first name, yet he's got how many goals he got for City? That's pretty good.
But then I think that's because of the players he was playing with. Because look at the minute he goes to Liverpool, his career goes down to Swanee because he's playing with.
But I think that was
poor players.
I think the Liverpool, like I said earlier, he said in an interview that the ball just wouldn't go in, and it was very difficult days that Liverpool. But I think those times were dark for Liverpool anyway, weren't they? Let's be honest, they were as we mentioned with Lambert, they were a woeful side.
So
they lost Suarez. They basically lost Gerrard.
Let's not punish Balotelli for Liverpool's bad performance. If we take out the
for
one
what was a
anomaly
shocking
in that
side.
career, the one anomaly in his career of Liverpool, the one that's the standalone. I don't know what the technical term is for it, but if you take Liverpool out, because that's the far-lying outlier, whatever it's called, that's some fantastic stats he's got.
But then, arguably, you then look at his loan move to Milan. Now, his first stint in Milan, he was playing the same. He was, getting the same numbers as he was at City. Goes to Liverpool, gets one in 16 in the Prem, I believe, and then he goes on a loan move to Milan and gets 1 goal in 20. So what's changed
But I think
there?
again, what we said last week, didn't we, with Scott Parker, about how it can take a player time to revitalise themselves.
Yeah.
And maybe for him, I imagine when you've been through that barren run, you've got to think every Sunday would be getting torn apart on social media for not scoring. Sky Sports would be on at him for not scoring. You'd have the pundits on at him for not scoring. So the confidence-wise, I imagine he did take a major hit. But I think it's his off-field. Well, not even off-field. You've got on-field antics as well, haven't you? Like, I'm sure we've all seen the famous clip of when he gets subbed off by Roberto Mancini in a pre-season friendly for stopping the ball and trying to backheel it into the net against LA Galaxy.
Yeah.
But to be fair, though, he did say, I looked at this, and he did say that he thought he heard the whistle go, and you can hear a whistle in the video.
You'd finish it anyway, wouldn't you? You'd just finish it anyway. Like,
but
I think
flair,
when you look at his career, mate, there's no surprise. He arguably his best days were under Roberto Mancini, and that ended when he was frozen out after a training ground bust-up with him. He had a disagreement with Patrick Vieira at Nice, fell out with him and never played again. Where Brescia was it in Italy, he got sacked for not turning up for training.
Yeah.
So I think if we're going to look at him, what you've got is we have got. I suppose it's difficult to judge him because we've seen him do it on the elite stage. Like you say, he's scored. He's won a Premier League. He's won a Champions League. He's won three Italian leagues. He's won an FA Cup. So he's played in a European Championship final for Italy. He's scored twice in a semi-final. But I think you don't think about that, do you? You more think about his antics, which, when you're a footballer, I suppose you want to be remembered for on the pitch rather than off it. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? That when someone's capable, and they don't meet that talent, I think you're sort of left with a what if. And I think that's the same for Balotelli. It's a what if. Something in his career definitely wasn't right, because so many of these issues wouldn't have arisen. Discipline, I suppose, was the biggest thing, wasn't it? We've all seen the Mourinho interview when he says he spent for Inter Milan, he spent 15 minutes at half time because he was on a booking just saying, don't touch anyone, don't do anything. And then within 1 minute of the second half, he's been sent off. So, and I think that's what stops him being an elite player, doesn't it? You've got it for the team, the team can't afford to carry it. And when you lack discipline, when you get sent off, when your manager has to spend 15 minutes talking to you rather than the team, and then you get sent off after. If the team can't rely on you, football is in essence a team game, isn't it? If the team can't rely on you, then you are essentially no good to the team.
Well, exactly. I mean, sorry, Joe, go on.
No, all I say to that is that, would I rely on him? Would I hire him for a job to be my postman? No, because he probably wouldn't deliver the letters. But the letters that he did deliver, he'd deliver incredibly. I'm talking straight in the letterbox. I'm talking... with a smile. And if we're going to talk about, this podcast is about, is he underrated? Now, do I think that Balotelli gets the respect he deserves and the adoration he deserves as being a Premier League winner, Champions League winner, 3 Italian Cup winners, etc., 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 golden boy? No, I don't think he does. And that's why I think he needs more appreciation.
Fair enough. I mean, I was just going to agree with Rob talking about sort of like the good with the bad. I mean, you look at his first goals for City, 2 goals against West Brom. Fantastic. Also gets sent off.
You know what, Wall? None of us are perfect. And
but I
some
think
of us...
I can see where you're coming from, Trill. Like, I've seen articles which talk about, he scored 5 goals in his first 8 games at Marseille. He was on a streak where he had 6 in 5 for Nice. So he had it in him. Like, you look at his games, he scored, 30 goals in about 80 games for Man City. He scored 30 goals in 54 appearances for AC Milan. So I suppose that's why when you look at him, you think for someone who's 30, like, his, he should be, the past few years, he should have been in the peak of his powers.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been. Like, for someone who had that talent and that ability and who's played for all those elite clubs, you shouldn't really at 30, I suppose, be in the Italian second division, having moved clubs, every 6 or 7 months because discipline and disciplinary issues.
I mean, I must agree that the thing holding me back about Balotelli is exactly what you've just said, Ron. The fact that he is a player who's only 30 years old, yet he's, for the past couple of years, been playing for, I don't know, weaker sides, etc. That he shouldn't be doing that. And that does make me question his, I'm not doubting he's a good player, but his, dedication to the game, as I mentioned earlier to Wall, is he dedicated to football? Does he care about football? And can we really give someone that much appreciation who maybe doesn't give a shit?
Well, exactly. And I think, we only really saw the best of Balotelli from in 4 years worth of football, 4 or 5 years worth of football, really before his Liverpool move. Before, after that, we've never really seen the same Balotelli again.
The question that I'll ask then, do you think he gets the recognition he deserves?
One thing I would say is, mate, is one thing,
never mind.
I can't remember who said it when I read, when they said that why always me, it was from an old Man City player. I think that they didn't, who he played with at the time, that they didn't like it because it was making it all about him rather than the team. And I think that's one thing you've got about him, is that it was about him, wasn't it? His discipline. He wouldn't have got sent off so many times when a team needed him if it wasn't about him. If it was about the team, he wouldn't have reacted to silly things. If you were a defender on the pitch, you would have loved playing against Balotelli because you just wind him up and he gets sent off. And then that leaves the rest of his team thinking, well, we're in big trouble now.
One comparison,
do you know what I mean?
for me is the Morelos situation with Rangers. I think I think Morelos is a decent player, a really good player, but they know how to work him, and he does. He's a couple of instances.
It's the same, isn't it? You see it in Scotland all the time. They wind him up, and his discipline. At some point it's a fuse, isn't it? At some point he's going to go, and at which point, bang, you've got him because he's going to get sent off, and suddenly you're playing against 10 men.
Yeah, I mean, what I mentioned earlier, again, this is stuff that I found online, so I can't say it's 100% true, but stamping on Scott Parker, that's the mark of a, piece of shit, isn't it? Stamping on another football player. So we're not saying he was necessarily the greatest guy, and or whatever, or, his attitude wasn't always in the best place, but I do think he's underrated. But like I say, we'll move on now to the ratings. Again, to remind anyone who, if you two have forgotten, or anyone watching who hasn't seen it before, our ratings are in 5 different ranks: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'll just read out what each of them is for you. Now, I do remind you that this is about how underrated he is and how much you think he should be remembered, not based on the skill of the player himself. So, rank number 1 is the street should never forget. Rank number 2 is the street should remember him. Rank number 3 is the streets can do what they like. Rank number 4 is the street should probably forget. And rank number 5 is the street should definitely forget. And we'll go to you first, Rob.
I feel like you should go first for this one, Trail, because it was your suggestion.
Okay, mate. I would put him in rank 2. The street should remember him.
Rank 2?
I don't think he's the greatest player of all time or the most underrated player of all time, but I can't believe that, for somebody who's won what he's won and done what he's done, how he can be any lower than... He should be remembered definitely for what he's done. Not just for the vasectomies, but, for the good stuff he did on the pitch.
And the haddock.
I definitely think you should remember him.
Wall, mate, what are you saying?
It's really hard for me, because it's really hard, I think, sometimes to distance Mario Balotelli from Mario Balotelli.
Yeah.
You're right. I looked at his goals, some really good, varied finishes, great finishes. That stat you come out with his goal involvements, it's fantastic. But I think, we're looking at a player who's only really shown up and shown his quality and his ability in the very early stages of his career. I think into the mid 2010s, he's sort of given up, or it's his attitude, or or what have you. So he's really declined from then. And for me, we're looking at a player who had the world at his feet. He reminds me so much of. Also, I think he's very similar to a player like Ravel Morrison, who gets all this hype about him. And I know, obviously, Ravel Morrison hasn't had the career Mario Balotelli's had, but you compare them in terms of discipline and ability and what people have said about them, and you think this player should have had a much better career. He's 30, he shouldn't be playing in Serie B. He should be still playing at one of the biggest clubs in the world. But for me, trying to stay as close to his ability as possible, I think I am gonna go with rank 3. I think I'm gonna go for the streets can do what they like, because I think with his quality and with his skill, that's fine. Like I say, very finishers, good player, all in all. But sometimes it's so hard to distance him from who he actually is, and his on-field, ignoring his off-field antics, his on-field antics, getting sent off, silly things, getting wound up, that ruins it for me. It definitely affects the way I see him.
I'll definitely take that, Rob.
I'm gonna have to ask for a drum roll for this one.
It's a tough one, this.
No, I'm gonna agree with Wall. I think
fuck off. You can both fuck off.
I think
both fuck off.
What I think when a player is remembered for their off-field antics more than their on-field antics, then something's gone wrong. Especially a player of his talent and his ability. There are moments on the pitch, but again, we're looking at the why always me celebration. We're not remembering the goal, are we? Remembering the celebration. His goals against Germany in the semi-final. Again, you're remembering the celebration. Like, there are moments, and there's no doubt in his talent. There's no doubt in what he was capable of. But sadly for me, he never reached those heights. And if we're gonna call this underrated, and kids might, some kids and whatever, you might go down and use this celebration like you could do it on FIFA, couldn't you, where you could flex. But I just don't think for me, he's, like I've said, you remember his off-field antics rather than on-field antics, and I think it's a shame considering the player he could have been. But I think for me, it's going to be rank 3.
I mean,
the streets can. So for me, people in 10 years' time, you're not gonna, if you're gonna say, oh well, Mario Balotelli, this iconic moment, it's not gonna be a goal, is it? It's not gonna be a piece of skill. It's gonna be, well, Mario Balotelli once revealed a shirt saying "Why always me?" after he let fireworks off in his house or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
And then had some haddock.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
Say, people talk about this
so
podcast,
yeah, for me, mate, for me, it's rank 3.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I do, agree with both of you, and I get your point, etc. I can't believe we're talking this way about a Champions League winner, Premier League winner, etc. To say that you wouldn't remember him, especially for what he did. But again, I think the end of his career is, well, not the end of his career, he's still playing, but the last few years of his career have really marred things for him. If he'd have been playing for, let's say he was a fringe player for Man City or something, we might be having a different conversation. If he'd gone back to Inter Milan and was scoring a goal every 4 or 5 games or whatever, we might be having a different conversation, or coming on as a sub. But yeah, I can see how you probably think he won't be remembered. But I'd tell you who will remember him probably is Roy Keane. Because you can bet how angry he was. With Roy Keane's attitude now towards things that like Pogba does, imagine how fuming he would have been when Balotelli revealed that shirt, that "Why Always Me" shirt.
Oh, exactly. But that's what I mean. It's it's all about what he's up to. It's all about how he's celebrated, or he's got sent off, or he's done something silly. It's never about what a great bit of skill, what a great performance.
I mean, he is the only Premier League player I know to have scored deliberately with his shoulder.
Well, yes, but again, he was about 0.2 yards out. But
Scott Parker ever done that? Has Nico Crenshaw ever done that? Has Ricky Lambert ever done that? No, have they fuck?
No, but then they've never eaten haddock and complained.
Bought their brothers' vasectomies.
Or broken into prisons.
Prisons, yes. Well, that's that then. We've said obviously the most common answer here is rank 3. So Balotelli goes into rank 3, which is the lowest rank we've given to anyone so far.
Oh no, it's Nico Crenshaw.
That's the joint.
Oh yeah, Nico. Yeah, I forgot about Nico. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he's joined. He was.
So we're comparing Nico Crenshaw to a Champions League and Premier League.
Just quickly before I go, I'm just going to bring that up. So we're putting him on the same. He should be remembered the same as Nico Crenshaw.
Yeah,
I think in terms
that's football. Mate. That's football.
how well he's known in general, I think Balotelli will always win that. But I think if we're talking in terms of football,
What, you're saying Nico Crenshaw is as good a footballer as Mario Balotelli?
well, I think it's tough, isn't it, mate? Because when
Mate,
you
you're
look at
fucked. What have you been drinking? That, honestly.
not the same, but in terms of just like I've said, Balotelli, you're going to remember his name, but you're going to know who he is because of his off-field antics.
But
There's
you're going to know
nothing
Nico
what
Crenshaw
screams
for
out.
anything.
The only thing what screams out on the pitch to me is when he did that back heel against LA Galaxy, because you've never seen a player literally do something like that and then immediately get hauled off and be given a bollocking from the manager for. So I think for me, there's no defining moment where I say, wow. Do you know, like when you think of Drogba and you think of that header against Bayern Munich and then the penalty against Bayern Munich, when you think of Torres and you think of the way he'd go past Vidic in the Manchester Liverpool derbies and he'd glide by him and he was the only player who used to put Vidic on his arse. Defining moments. Whereas for me, Balotelli doesn't have that because all his defining moments are off-field antics
I
or
disagree, mate.
on-field antics.
I think he does have a defining moment, and you've already
Which
done an
one?
excellent recreation of it, mate. Of Balotelli, Aguero, and I think
Yeah, but
he'll
that's
be
it, mate.
remembered for that.
That's Aguero who's remembered for that, isn't it?
Yeah, but Balotelli will probably try and steal it.
Yeah, but you weren't saying that, but no one remembers the Dzeko equaliser. That was just as important. That got like, here you go, guys. We can do this.
Yeah,
He's
and
another
that's why.
one, mate. He's another one for this podcast because I think he was extremely underrated.
But Rob, don't give it away, Rob. Ruin the suspense. Don't tell us what you think.
I know we have no idea who next week's is
I
yet.
always liked him as well. 6'4", 6'3".
Don't let
Big,
Scott Parker
strong.
say this, mate.
Big and strong.
I thought he was a good
Tall,
player.
strong
Yeah,
man.
I could never understand why Man City sold him.
Well, like I say, we'll get in touch with Balotelli, see if he knows. Thank you very much for joining me both today. It's been fantastic. I think it's been our best podcast yet.
It's been a good heated debate. I love it.
You're both pissed off Mario Balotelli.
We've left this. Wolves fuming about Shaw and Trail. You're fuming about. I'm fuming that Scott Parker's had his head stamped on.
Exactly.
I suppose you know about
that. No, mate, no.
He's blocked it out as a bad memory out of his head.
Yeah, trauma.
Thank you very much, boys. It's been lovely. I'll see you again next time.
Cheers. I'm going to go off and have some haddock. Take care.
You can have a vasectomy as well.
See you later. Cheers, boys.